Welcome back to my channel. I'm Mark Phillips, and in this video we're talking all about the formula from Bashar. And of course, Bashar is the being that Daryl Anka channels and shares a lot of super awesome wisdom with us. A couple months ago, I kind of went on a Bashar binge and watched a bunch of videos and read a bunch of stuff, and the formula was one of those things. And it's so awesome that I decided, hey, I want to make a video and share it with you and also correlate it with some of the other things that I've picked up on my journey, tools and insights and ideas from other people and other channel beings that kind of go all together with this, that plug in nicely with this. I'm a big fan of that. I want to take in all of the information and then see what information is common across all the people that have shared it, right? And how they correlate with one another. And so that's what we're going to do in this video. By the way, if you're new here, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you want more content like this, talking about manifestation, law of attraction, and how to create the business and lifestyle that you want from the inside out. You're a conscious creator, and we came here to turn thoughts to things we talk a lot about on this channel. So, the other thing I want to say before we get into this is I use a specific framework to review books or movies or essays or formula like this one-page document. And what that is I like to talk about what it is, why it's important, and then how to put it into practice. I like to cover those three areas in the videos that I produce. And so what it is a three-step formula, like I said, from Bashar through Daryl Anka, that helps you know what you should be taking action on. I think one of the biggest challenges for human beings is, there are infinite places we could put our time. There are infinite things that we could create. I'm sure you've asked yourself this before. What do you create, right? If you have infinite opportunities, what job should you do? What idea should you turn from a thought into a thing, right? What business should you start? What should you do in your free time? What books should you read? All these things can sometimes keep human beings stuck in analysis paralysis, and then we end up getting to the end of our lives and we die and we're like, well, I didn't really do much, right? Because I was so consumed with trying to figure out what I should do. This is going to help you. So that is kind of a little background on what it is, right? Three-step formula to help you know what you should take action on, right? Because you're a physical being. Taking action is the fun part. Turning thoughts to things in the physical world and the physical plane is part of the fun that we human beings came here to do, right? So that's what it is. Why it's important is, again, like I touched on, it's going to help you know what you should take action on. Very, very important. That's why I think these types of tools and this one is very important to human beings, and that's why I wanted to share it with you. And then how to use it, we'll talk a little bit more how to use it. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? 3 steps, follow the formula, and you'll get to the heart of it. So for starters, I'm going to read the formula to you, and then we're going to talk about it and correlate it with some other things. But I want to read this to you briefly first. So hang tight while I read through. I'm going to go all the way through it. I'm not going to comment in between so that you get a great sense of what it is. And by the way, I should say this. If you want to find this, which I encourage you to do that, just Google the formula Bashar, B-A-S-H-A-R, excuse me, and this one-page PDF will come up. It's on bashar.org, but you can find it in Google by typing the formula, F-O-R-M-U-L-A, Bashar, B-A-S-H-A-R.org, and it'll come up. So, okay, let me read through it here, then we'll talk about it. The formula. Number 1. Take action on the opportunity that contains the highest excitement. The highest excitement doesn't have to come in the form of a project or career. As long as an option contains even a little more excitement than any other option, act on it first. Excitement is your body's physical translation of a communication from your higher mind. Respond to it by acting on the excitement. Check your beliefs to make sure you aren't making anxiety appear to be excitement. Check your beliefs to make sure you aren't making excitement appear to be anxiety through fear-based definitions. Number 2, act on that excitement to the best of your ability. Use all your skills, talents, imagination, and abilities in taking the action. Act to the fullest degree you are able to act. If more than one opportunity has equal ability to be acted upon, choose either and it will be shown, and it will show you whether or not to continue down that path. Keep acting on it until you have no more ability to act. When you can act no further, choose the next most exciting thing you are able to take action on. Physical parameters, laws of society, moral values, and ethical standards can all indicate whether or not you have the ability to take action. Number 3, act on that excitement with absolutely zero insistence or assumption with respect to a specific outcome. Understand that insistence on a specific outcome, manifestation, or path may actually prevent a better manifestation than you imagined. The thing itself that excites you may not need to come to fruition. It may only excite you to get you to take action in order to create the state of being in which the thing that actually needs to manifest can do so. Acting on this 3-part formula with integrity aligns you with the complete toolkit of excitement that provides every form of support, abundance, or information you need, becomes the driving engine that moves you forward, acts as the organizing principle that shows you what to act on, in what order and when, presents you with the path of least resistance to flow through life, connects you to all other expressions of your excitement no matter what form they come in, becomes the reflecting mirror that reveals anything within your beliefs that is out of alignment with your true vibration of excitement, leaves nothing relevant out. The end. That's the formula. Isn't that awesome? All right, let's talk about some ideas. I wrote down 3 big ideas that I want to talk about this formula, and we'll also talk about some of the other things, how it correlates with other things. So let me run through these. Number 1, the overarching theme obviously here is excitement. Now, when I think of that, I always think of Joseph Campbell, famous phrase, famous understanding of the human experience, follow your bliss, right? The thing that's going to lead you to what you should be doing in life is what lights you up, what makes you happy, what makes you blissful. That also correlates with, I think it's Robert Thurman, either Robert Thurman, or George Thurman, where he has the famous quote that said, hey, do what makes you come alive because the world needs more people who have come alive. That alive and excitement in my mind are synonymous. And so when you do what makes you come alive and feel alive, you know you're on the right track, right? Also, Abraham Hicks says that the purpose of life is joy, right? The purpose of life is joy, and that when you're enjoying yourself and enjoying what you're doing, you know you're on the right path. If you're not enjoying it, you're way off the path, right? And we've all been there, and we know that what that contrast looks like. So this idea of excitement is pervasive in philosophers and thinkers and people who study the human experience, right? What lights your fire, right? Also in the ikigai, right? What you love to do, what you are passionate about, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. I think I've got that a little bit off, but you know the ikigai, you can search that up. But that also goes towards what your passion is, what makes you come alive, what lights you up. All those things are all talking about excitement. So that's a common idea across a bunch of people's message that they're sharing with us. That's the first idea that I wanted to share with you. The second idea, and this is also huge, is there's an idea of detachment in here, right? When we become too attached to a specific outcome, that's a problem, because then we're trying to do too much, right? We're not staying in our little zone of genius or our core being, right? We're trying to get way out ahead of ourselves, and we're not enjoying the moment right here. When we start to say, okay, well, this is what excites me, but this is what I want to have happen, you see how that pulls us way off center, and it starts to make us lose I know I'm going to get this backwards, lose the forest for the tree. Is that an apt analogy? It might be. But you know what I'm saying? Like if you have a very focused perspective on the now moment, right? Eckhart Tolle, the now, the power of now. And then you also say, well, also the power of then. I want to talk about and think about what's going to happen then. You see how that pulls and fragments your energy from what is happening now and the happiness and excitement that you can feel now in the moment. It fragments us. So we have to detach from any outcome and say, look, I just want to be happy now and feel joy now and feel alive now and feel deep passion and love for what I'm doing now and be an open channel now for ideas that want to come through me, things I want to create, right? Things I want to say, all of these things now. Totally forget about what's going to happen in the future. I'll be the first to admit that's sometimes challenging, let's be honest. But when we do that successfully and focus only on the now moment, what's exciting and joyful and what makes us happy and lights us up and makes us come alive now, and forget about that attachment to an outcome, we are much better off. So that's the second idea I want to share with you. Simply act in ways that bring you joy, do things that bring you joy, that excites you, all those things, and detach from that outcome. Another huge idea and message for enhancing the human experience that many people have talked about, this idea of detachment. My third and final idea I want to share with you, and then we'll kind of talk about how to put this into practice. I have some ideas I want to share with you. The third big idea from this, the formula by Bashar, is it's kind of all talking about body wisdom, right? It's not necessarily using, or it's not referring us to our intellectual wisdom, our intellectual aspect of ourselves to know the right thing to do. And the reason for that is because, like I talked about earlier in this video, we can sometimes get things wrong, right? Human beings for centuries have been prone to get it wrong, right? The earth is flat. The sun revolves around the earth. I mean, you could go on and on. Those are the big ones. But we're constantly getting it wrong. Why is that? Because the mind, right? We misunderstand things, right? We don't get things right. We have limited knowledge. Our perspective's always opening. Our awareness and understanding of the human experience is always expanding. But we got a lot more to understand, right? When we use the mind to try to figure stuff out, you get into looping patterns of thinking, and you get into paralysis analysis. You get into all sorts of rabbit holes and traps of the ego mind, and it keeps us stuck. When we use the body wisdom, right, like the formula is talking about, what feels good to you? That's another thing I wanted to point out that Abraham Hicks always says, hey, your emotional guidance system will guide you to do the right thing. When you do something, really tune in and check yourself and say, look, how did that feel to me? Did that feel good? Did I feel like I was on the path? Did I feel like I was alive? Did I feel like I was tuned in and joyful? Or did it feel not so great to me? And we need to be really sensitive to those emotions, because those emotions are our guidance system. They call it the emotional guidance system. So tuning into that body wisdom is a more appropriate way to know what you should do with your life, right? I mean, how many times has this happened to you? You meet someone and instantly you have kind of a vibe about them, good or bad, right? Instantly your body tells you way more than your mind does. Hey, on paper, or if you listen to what they say, the mind might be like, yeah, let's say, for instance, they're a bad guy or bad gal. The mind might say, hey, look, they're doing this. They got this. This is their credentials. This is the thing. They're legit. But your body wisdom is telling you otherwise. Who are you going to trust, right? When people get into trouble is when they trust their mind over their body, and that's a big problem. So body wisdom cannot lie, doesn't lie, right? When you put an idea into your body and say, does this idea feel right to me? That's another thing that I do when I'm reading all these different people and listening to different videos. I'm never going to judge someone by something they say intellectually and say, oh, that sounds right. If it's important, I'm going to put it into my body and let it hang out there, that idea, and say, does this idea feel right? Do I have any sensations in my body that are red flags or questioning what this person is saying to me? I don't care if it's a public figure, a person like Bashar, Abraham Hicks, Eckhart Tolle, you name it, any type of philosopher or author or anyone in the world. I'm going to put that into the body wisdom and say, look, how does this feel? And it helps me arrive at an understanding of them and say, hey, this feels good, this feels bad, etc. So those are 3 big ideas from the formula: excitement, detachment, and body wisdom. Now, this is going to be simple when we talk about how to put this into practice. The way I use this is I think about things that I'm doing in my life and my business right now. I think about stuff I'm doing online, projects that I want to do, social media posts that I want to post, books or courses that I want to create. And I say, look, is this exciting to me? Does this feel excitement? Does this elicit excitement in me? And if it doesn't, I don't do those things, right? I don't do those things as much, and I put new things on the burner. And I got to tell you, be ready for a potentially radical shakeup in what you're doing, because if you arrive to the conclusion that the formula is right for you, right, as I have, and it correlates with a lot of other stuff that you've learned, it may very well be kind of a shakeup in your life or your business. So those are the things you have to be ready for. People, and I've been there myself, who have lived a lot of their life in the intellectual space, right? Doing what they've thought was the right thing to do instead of what they felt was the right thing to do. I mean, I think no one's so far down the path of, misunderstanding themselves and the human experience that they can't always get back. You can always get back to on the path, so to speak. But I just want to say, be prepared for projects that were on your plate to maybe go off your plate once you really get a sense and tune into, does this project excite me? Is it joyful? Is it how I want to spend my 80 to 100, maybe you're on the high end, 120 years on earth? I don't know. Is that how you want to spend your time? Working on something that doesn't make you come alive, or you feel some type of obligation, is there a need for it? The other thing I like to think about when we're talking about these ideas is, what's the most important thing, right? What's the most important work as a human being that we can do? Well, that's to feel good. That's to be happy, because when we're happy, we emanate happy vibes out into the world. We spread that happiness. If our lives suck, we spread sucky vibes out into the world. And who gets to choose whether our lives are happy or suck? We do. We have the ability to course correct. I'm not saying it's going to be overnight. I'm not saying we're going to, but make it happen instantaneously. I believe that is potentially possible, but I also am a realist to a degree still. And I know sometimes it takes time to get back on course. So there's never a place you could be too far off course to get back on the true path, which is the path of being in the spirit of joy, enjoying yourself and your life, and operating from that, letting your emotions guide you to the right people to hang out with, the right work to be doing, the right projects to be pursuing, the tasks, etc. So that's the formula from Bashar. I hope that has been helpful to you. I find it to be super awesome. If you did too, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone who you think might need to hear it. Also, go pick up the formula, like I mentioned earlier in this video. And consider subscribing for more videos like this. I've got a lot of content that I'll be producing in the coming weeks and months. I'm doing a big push right now to share some of my favorite tools like this, and also some that I've created and made based on other ideas that I've come across to help you be a more conscious creator and help you create more of the experiences that you want to have in your business and your life. More happiness, fulfillment, success, enjoyment, all those things that you want. So thanks for watching. Until next time, all the best, health, wealth, and success. Bye-bye.